October is Pet Wellness Month. It's a time to shine a light on the health and happiness of our furry family members. While regular vet visits are important, many pet parents are also exploring holistic options to keep their pets thriving. And joining us this morning is Dr. Alexia Chakiris, who is an integrative veterinarian and the founder of Naturopathic Veterinary Wellness Center in Red Bank. See what we did there? She combines conventional veterinary care with holistic therapies to offer a truly comprehensive approach to pet wellness. And Dr. Chakiris, welcome to On New Jersey Mornings. Good to have you on.
Thank you for having me, Ken, and thank you for recognizing my fun play on words there.
Yes, I love that. Any use of the word paw is always good. I need to ask you because I've had dogs for many years. In fact, this is the longest gap now that I haven't had one for about a year and a half. And I saw my two young dogs, especially one who was not even 9, a Pomeranian who was as active as could be, suddenly and out of nowhere developed cancer in his mid upper forearm, if you will. I call it the arm, and out of nowhere, and within weeks it took him. He was
Yeah,
fine before that, I thought. The question
right.
is, and my vet, who is now retired and has seen a lot of dogs, said, back when I was a kid, these dogs didn't just randomly develop cancer. What is going on? Is it the crap that they're feeding them in the commercial formulations? What is going on?
It's literally everything. It is everything from not just the formulations, it's not the formulations, it's how it's made, high heat processed food. Unfortunately, our soil is depleted of nutrients nowadays. Our air is full of chemicals, our water, you know what I mean? Like, so we're just doing our best to keep ourselves healthy given the environment that we're in right now.
So now, just so everyone knows, and I should have asked this off the top, describe the difference between a conventional veterinarian and an integrative vet. And you are the integrative vet.
I am the integrative vet. I started out as the conventional vet, and my conventional veterinary training was 5 years of the most intense studying I've ever done in my life. And unfortunately, a year after being out, I was realizing I was seeing the same patients with the same problems over and over. And I was treating the symptoms, and they were doing okay, but then they'd be back. And so there was a whole gap in my medical knowledge, and I was
Mhm.
trying to figure out how to help my patients better. So that is when I found acupuncture and then herbal medicine and chiropractic, and you go down the rabbit hole and you realize this is how I can fill those gaps where conventional medicine is missing answers. So I use acupuncture, herbs, nutrition, name it, we may do it, or I'll refer you to someone else, but to help really create the best medicine for the patients, because everything's limited. It's the world we live in.
My former vet, when I had my dogs, used to say the one thing about treating animals is they're non-discriminatory. They're not mentally pushed one way or the other to give you an opinion about whether a therapy
Mhm.
worked. Either it works or it doesn't, and it tends to work a lot faster in animals because they're smaller and have higher metabolisms, right, than humans. So you give an antibiotic, you get a quicker response generally with animals. But at the same time, it's hard that you can't talk to them, but it is amazing. And I
Right.
have the utmost of respect for you veterinarians because for those that don't realize, human doctors only have to deal with one species. You could be presented with a lizard, you could be presented with a cat, you could be presented with a kangaroo, and you got to figure out how to treat them all, right?
Yes, yes. And we have to learn about all of them. And it's almost like being a super pediatrician in a way where none of our patients can talk back to us and having
Wow.
to be a good detective and get to the underlying problem of things without them
So
being able to
next
tell us it hurts here or this is bothering me or I'm nauseous.
So next time, I was going to say next time people complain about the vet bill, consider that. Consider you're getting 5 to 10 years of studies here for somebody, as opposed to
Mhm.
conventional medical school for human medical doctors. When is the right time to bring the pet to the vet? Because I think so many people say Fido is acting differently. Fido is not eating, but I don't want to take him to the vet. But when is the time to bring the pet to the vet?
Honestly, I think the best time is from before they're not acting right. So I really like twice a year visits,
Mhm.
blood work once a year. Even if they're looking great, let's get a baseline on things and know where they're at so that we can keep track of changes through physical exams. We can keep track of changes. And then when Fido's not themselves, or hopefully before, my goal is before, we're using herbs, diet, acupuncture, whatever it is, when we're noticing a trend to slow the progression of an issue down. But if we can stay on top of what the baseline is, then hopefully we're able to help the patient to come back into balance and heal.
Doctor, what would you, if somebody's getting a pup, and by the way, that somebody might be me soon. If somebody is getting a pup, and I tend to get rescues, not that I'm not trying
Mhm.
to virtue signal, but I do tend to get rescues. Um, if somebody's getting a pup and they're thinking about a specific kind of food or a specific way of feeding the dogs, like I had a friend who only gave raw foods and prepared it all themselves, organic, raw, that's it. What would you recommend? What would you tell your family member or friend who's adopting a little fur ball? What would you say? No, only feed the dog this and make sure this with their diet. What recommendation would you have?
No matter what, I want it to be fresh. We know that unfortunately the food that we were all taught was the best is super high heat processed, which makes it very
Right.
pro-inflammatory. So we're not starting them off with like a great foundation. So fresh food is best. Whether it's cooked or raw, for me, depends on the patient and the family. So I don't have one way or another, but it also needs to be balanced. It's hugely important, especially with puppies, growing dogs, kittens, that we have a proper balanced diet. So if you're going to buy it from a commercial company, typically it's going to be AFCO certified so that you know it's balanced.
Mhm.
If you're making it at home, then you really need to be in close contact with a veterinary nutritionist, diet formulator, so that you know you are giving your puppy the proper nutrients in the proper ratios from the beginning.
Yeah. After seeing what my poor little boy went through, my poor little boy puppy, doggy, Kobe, seeing how he just degraded from this happy, running, the most energetic, happy, healthy dog, literally the dog that never got sick a day in his life, to dying in a matter of weeks, and how I had to hold him for the shot, which I'm
Mhm.
traumatized for life from that. Um, Seeing that, like, my quest in life is to make sure that everything that goes into a dog's mouth from this point on is going to be very carefully scoped out. I need to have you back
Yeah.
on again and again. Dr. Alexia Chakiris, integrative veterinarian, founder of Naturopathic Veterinary Wellness Center in Red Bank. Unfortunately, I'm an hour and a half away from you, or else you would be my new regular vet, but I'll figure out a way. I will. I
We
thank
can
you
always
so
do
much for coming on.
telemedicine.
Then you know what? I think then we may have a deal. Let's talk. Let's talk seriously about having you on a regular basis, if you don't mind. I would love to have you on again,
Absolutely.
please. Thank you so much for coming on this morning.
Thank you. Have a great morning.
You too.